Good morning, viewers. Thank you very much. Welcome to Punchline Africa Television, broadcasting from the Political Command Center in Mombasa. Good morning. Good morning, all of you across the continent of Africa. Those watching us in Europe, waking up, those sleeping in America, those who are waking up in Southeast Asia, where the sun is about to go down while we are going up. Good morning, all of you. Thank you very much, viewers across all continents, in Brazil, in Colombia, in Cuba, Havana, the Caribbeans, those watching this Pan-African station, in Nigeria, Biafrans suffering under the regime of Buhari, an autopilot state. Good morning. In Libya, the killings that take place. Good morning. All of you in Somalia, the wrangles that never end. And when you look at what happened in Somalia over the weekend, people blown up nearby places where terrorists live with them and blow themselves up. Good morning, all of you across in Kenya, back in Uganda, back in Kigali, Rwanda, in Burundi, Tanzania, Madam Samia Suluhu. Thank you very much for the handshake. Across down in Zimbabwe, my country, the country I've fought for, the country I've stood for, the country I've spent most of the time on African continent speaking for, defending from toxins of imperialism or neocolonialism. Thank you very much. You wake up with good news that one day and one day alone that in Tanzania, the leader of opposition will do a handshake. Thank you very much, Raila Amolo Odinga, Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, for bringing this handshake. Good morning, Africa. Back in Kenya, in Nairobi. Good morning, Miriam Ogutu.
A very good morning to you, and good morning, good afternoon, good evening to our viewers from wherever they're joining us today.
Thank you very much, Miriam, in the Political Command Center headquarters in Nairobi, herself, senior anchor and senior presenter and editor for the Punchline Africa TV. Thank you for the good work. And across in the CBD of the Republic of Kenya, the streets of Nairobi, the man himself, Colombo, the guy who Colombos, he looks for the info. If you want any information hidden, how Ruto has stolen, you better find it. How a ghost worker now ends up being printed on one of the papers without any words. One full page of a ghost worker. None at done. Daniel Shodweson. Good morning, Daniel.
Yes, a very, very good morning to you, Dr. Matsanga David in Mombasa, Kenya. Good morning to my colleague Miriam Ogutu, our viewers in Africa and the rest of the globe. It is my pleasure to be in the conversation this morning.
Thank you very much. As you see, the man did not sleep. He was busy looking for information. And we want to wake you up with coffee. Good news. Miriam wants to bring us good news. At last, the newspapers in Kenya have caught up with the ghost worker. And Miriam, you have very good news there to tell us. A ghost worker has been caught. And he has been Matanga, right from Mombasa, Kenya. Good morning.
Well, good morning. And on some of the leading newspapers in the country, on the Star newspaper, the main headline, Uhuru to witness Kalonzo, Gideon and Raila New Deal, one Kenya alliance leaders to attend joint ODM. And Jubilee National Delegates Convention on Saturday, where pact will be signed. You'll find that on page 4 and 5 on the Star newspaper. And then the main pictorial, Muturi crowned DP leader as Munyao becomes patron. That is the main pictorial. Get out of Uhuru's shadow and face me, Ruto tells Azimio's Raila. And another cop shoots wife dead and turns gun on himself. You'll find that on page 3. Grant leave after miscarriages, petitioner urges, that is on page 6, and senators back a law on use of nicknames on ballot papers. That is on page 7 on the Star newspaper. And then we turn our attention to the Standard newspaper. The main headline, Uhuru's game plan in succession race, with President expected to make a major announcement at Sagana on Wednesday. Top politicians speak out on how he is maneuvering to place himself at the center of his succession and play a key role after polls. That is on page 6 and 7. All set for 2.1 million learners to seat KCPE and KCSE, that is on page 13. And the main pictorial is on Azimio allies to zone out region, says Raila, in one of those rallies that Azimio leaders were having yesterday at the coast. And just after there, Kalonzo gives stamps for talks as Muturi hits out at President Wiper leader ready for Azimio deal. As Speaker launches bid for State House, that is on page 4 and 5 on the Standard newspaper. And then we turn our attention to the Daily Nation and the main headline and also the main pictorial. Why is he still in office? The deputy president has gone rogue. He is the leader of government business where the president is not available, but scarcely has he led any government agenda lately. He is the number 2 in the pecking order of the country's leadership, but today he fights his own government from across an imaginary fence, ridiculing its credentials and scorecards and generally making a mockery of the last 5 years of the administration he served. So why does William Samoei Ruto continue drawing salary? What are the moral, logical explanations of his stay in office? That is on page 4 and 5 on the Daily Nation. And just up there, Azimio's big catch, Raila Kalonzo inch closer to 2022 poll deal. You'll find that on page 12 and 13. Pay me my 14 million Kenya shillings, students tells state. That is on page 2 and 3. And Kenya on high alert as polio case detected in Malawi's capital. That is on page 8. So that is what we have on the leading newspapers in Kenya this morning. Back to you, Doctor.
Thank you very much, Miriam. You raised quite a number of things, and you have raised one story that catches my eye. Is very simple story which I have been on for a long time. This morning I was called as a fire brigade in one of the television stations called 427, when 2 gentlemen were besieging a lawyer by name, very good lawyer from Kirinyaga. But I was called and I came in handy to ask why on earth should somebody be collecting salary? A man who wants to be a leader of a country, a man who wants to lead the same Kenyans who are crying that the food prices are too high, yet the salary is being collected for free. Allowances are being taken by their leader. Can someone in normal sense in Kenya tell me why the food salaries and the prices are high, yet they have the looter who looted the money, who made these prices to go up? The same man who talked about taxation is very good, and then today he's saying the government, and you see, Miriam, this type of politics does not pay. The man brought this as a reaction, a knee-jerk reaction to the Livondo accusation, so that people, instead of going for asking questions whether this story was correct or not correct, people have just said reckless statements. Yes, it's a reckless statement. You can say that, but now it's not reckless, because somebody has to explain whether this happened or not, whether this was there or not. And that person who should come up to explain it to us is none other than those people mentioned in this statement, which they call reckless. If Kalonzo, if Ruto says it's a reckless statement, and then his followers and the newspapers call around and say reckless, how reckless would it be if the plane was to fall? How reckless was it to be that we lose our president in air? How? Nobody would know. We would be told stupid stories. So for us, a ghost worker, for me, Dr. Matanga, this man is a ghost worker, collecting salaries. That story touches me so much, Miriam. It brings me to what we call the bumpy road towards elections. Is these elections, Miriam, worth it? If you see at the preparations, if you look at so many other things that are supposed to be in place, if you look at the Krieger report, is this road not bumpy? Let me tie that with the bumpy topic that we are going to have shortly. For me, this Ruto should have had that full page a long time ago, Miriam, where people embarrass him. Even the children asking, Dad, why are you on the page without words, too many words? Then he say, no, I earn salary free. And you people, your money is being cut off from me, from you, then you pay me, then I earn it for free. I'm a ghost worker. But I'm a ghost worker who comes to the same grave. You know, a ghost that comes to condemn it, the grave where it came from, then it must be a very dangerous ghost. I submit.
All right, and just a bit of that story on page 4 and 5 before we move on to our main headline. Angry, defiant, and disillusioned. Why won't DP Ruto just quit? On page 4 and 5 on the Daily Nation. What's in it for him? What's the end game, and for how long? He says he's not going anywhere, at least not unless he's kicked out and his political allies are begging him on. Yes, and the argument is that the battles Dr. Ruto is fighting now are not ethical, philosophical, or moral, like whether or not to continue drawing a salary for a job you long elected but political. The arguments emanate from an understanding, a conviction, actually, that the deputy president jubilations are politically motivated and can therefore only be dealt with from political podium, not the disused boardroom at Harambee House Annex. But why is this true? So on the main headline here, Daniel Wesonga, just when they were describing what it is that the DP has been doing and, his current standing with the same government that he's serving, because he has not resigned, so he's still part of the Jubilee government. So they're asking, so why does William Samoei Ruto continue drawing a salary? What are the moral, logical explanations of his stay in office? Does he have any moral obligation, at this point?
Yes, it is still very unfortunate that we have William Ruto, someone who has been derailing the agenda of his party leader and his boss, President Uhuru Kenyatta. And if it were in any developed democracies, or maybe to a person who actually sees that his patriotism and maybe his principles are not well aligned with whatever his former party Jubilee stands for, then he will have resigned. We had Jaramogi Oginga Odinga doing that in 1963, but because of William Ruto and who he thought of resigning. And as Dr. Matsanga has put it, this is a man who has a very, very high appetite of misusing the government resources. He wants to attack the same government he works for. He wants to draw some good credit for the projects that President Uhuru Kenyatta is doing. But when it comes to carrying the failure of the same government, then he wants to draw a line and say that he is not ready to be part and parcel of that particular government. So this is a man who has been selectively been applying whatever comes from the Jubilee government, despite being a ghost worker for more than 5 years now, not doing anything in office. His office at Harambee House Annex is actually growing cobwebs, and no one actually reports there. The last we heard about this particular office was when a fake arms deal was happening there through the former Minister for Sports, Rashid Achesa. And actually, it led to the killing and the brutal disappearances of some of the workers at that particular office. So this is a man who is an axis of evil, a man who has no regard for his own office, a man who does not even respect his own boss. And there he is, drawing salaries from the government, actually raising the expenditure because his office has a fleet of cars. His office has employees who are not doing anything but just assisting the man to pursue his own personal ambition of trying to become the 5th president of this particular republic, Miriam. So to me, I believe Kenyans, in as much as they're saying that we should lower food prices, they should know that we have a ghost worker in this government who is actually making the government expenditure to go up. That money that is being paid to William Ruto, Miriam, could be used to invest in lowering the price of agricultural inputs. It could be used to give subsidies to actually food imports that are coming into these countries, so that the cost of living goes down. But as you can see, Miriam, nothing has been done. William Ruto does not have any interest to resign. He told us that he doesn't have the luxury nor the time to quit on his position. That is despite the fact that he's not working for that particular position. Why on earth would a man earn money where he does not work? Even the Bible says, he who does not work should not eat. But William Ruto has been eating Kenya's taxpayers' money since 2018 without doing any meaningful work in government and without even supporting the agenda of his boss. So therefore, Miriam, it is immoral, it is unpatriotic, and it is very bad for William Ruto to continue sitting in that office if he does not work or maybe support the legacy of the president. And such moral questions, such questions of principle, such patriotic questions is what the media should be asking him, is what the stakeholders and those who love this country should be asking William Ruto. Otherwise, Miriam, I believe whatever he's doing is out of this world, and Kenyans should not allow such a ghost worker, a person who has been accused of corruption, a person who has been sabotaging the good work that the president is doing, to continue being in office and continue minting their millions every month, year in, year out. I believe we should do away with him. He should be forced, Kenya should move to court and support the application that has been submitted by the activist Okiya Omtata, so that we have William Ruto deciding whether he wants to be in government and support his boss or he wants to quit. It doesn't matter if we only have 4 months to the elections, but we have to make it clear. And that is why I believe that the BBI was quite handy, because it could have given the president the prerogative and the mandate to fire a rogue deputy president. We wouldn't be having a scenario where William Ruto is not working and he's out there shouting and insulting his boss while derailing his agenda. So we need to fix this nation, Miriam. And I believe if we can have such clause on BBI, then we shall be able to solve future problems like this. I submit.
Very well, thank you so much. Now, he is the deputy president, but he does not deputize the president. He is the leader of government business with the president when the president is not available, but he no longer leads any government agenda or attend a cabinet meeting. So those are very weighty questions, and I think that are being raised. And I think a lot of Kenyans have been having these questions and wondering, why do we have to keep paying you, and taking care of you as the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, while you have absconded your duties? You no longer, take care of your responsibilities. And perhaps, Doc, I don't know, from Ruto's side, maybe he thinks this has no ethical ground as much as it does not have a moral ground or a philosophical ground, but perhaps it is a political problem. So he's sorting it out in a political way. What do you say to that?
I think the very reason I agree with Songa, the very reason that the Constitution, the BBI, was going to mold something that can give you powers, a man you have chosen to run along with turns around somewhere in the middle, uses the Constitution to turn on you and eats you. Miriam, the biggest mistake that Kenyans made and the biggest mistake that Jubilee Party made was to bring a thief and a corrupt man called William Samoei Ruto into the midst of very good party, a very good organizational structure, a very good nation. This man from the day one has been looting. I have sent you an article, you can look at it. I've written extensively, very early, 4 a.m. to analyze the pitfalls of Ruto. What happened, surely? That Jeff sent it to you. You will see the real pitfalls of insanity that Ruto caused in the Jubilee Party. And today, you see this guy has turned up to be a saint, a martyr, who's going to die for, claiming to die for people, claiming to die for Mama Mboga, Baba Mboga, claiming to be the bottom-up crusader. Yet he ate the same bottom-up long time ago. You can imagine a country where a thief comes to steal your oil and then says, before you put petrol in your car, I will be the one telling you how much you put in the car. You can imagine a scenario where a man comes to steal your property. You see him wearing a shirt across, moving around with helicopters to pick money, to drop money. Do you remember the time when Ruto was called money bag? The money bag syndrome of Kenya. The church leaders were shouting on Sapiti and the rest. These are very dangerous people of the state, of a nation called Kenya, surely. They don't see. They want Uhuru Kenyatta to avoid talking to their kinsmen, a kinsman who gave them money handouts in churches. Before Olasapiti told the Anglican church not to receive money, he had already received the money. His provost, Wainaina, in All Saints Church, is a UDA priest. I used to go to All Saints Church and pray there. It's the only Anglican church in the world that I go to. In London is only Anglican. That's where I go to. I've never gone to any church that uses drums, guitar, and so many other things, music, choir, dancing like you are in a nightclub. I've never. I only go to that church, but I lost going to church, the morale, because of Provost Wainaina, All Saints Church. So when you see church leaders also coming up, instead of guiding the nation, telling the nation not to steal, they accept money from the stolen money of the people, and then you come up with a hashtag, Ruto, lower the prices of food. You love my God, which love the prices. Ruto told us in Narok, Miriam, the clip is there. You can show it to Kenyans, you people in production team. Ruto said taxation is the best way that you can have services delivered to the government. So he was in support of the high prices of food, fuel, and others. So to bring a hashtag at this moment is just a bumpy road towards 2022. We seem to forget so much, Miriam.
And Doc, speaking of which, there's something also the Deputy President yesterday said. On page 30 on the Daily Nation, Deputy President William Ruto yesterday warned politicians against making reckless utterances that could threaten the peace ahead of the August 9th general election. The DP said some remarks in political rallies could threaten the country's unity. We should desist from making utterances that could divide Kenyans. Let us advance our policies without divisive rhetoric, the DP said during a Sunday service at St. John's Catholic Church in the Maua, Meru County. And as much as whatever he said should be applauded, and I think it's wonderful, but the DP himself has not been on the forefront of, choosing his words carefully, when he is speaking. A lot of times he balkanizes, communities, when he goes to certain places and he uses words like Nitawakomboa from throwing stones and all these things. It has been a very dangerous stereotype towards, a certain perceived community. So as much as this is good, and I love that he's saying this, but he should actually walk this talk, not just say it, because he is one of the people who uses, messaging out there and words that are not in line with promoting a cohesive country. So many times, Wesonga.
Thank you so much, Miriam. And this is a person who preaches water and drinks wine. And you saw even the other day, he almost sparked a diplomatic tiff between Kenya and the Democratic Republic of Congo, simply because of his loose tongue. And he has always branded himself and under himself a character of a person who is very, very insensitive of whatever he talks. He calls Raila Odinga mtu ya kitendawili. He has called his boss a conman, and he always even bashes Kalonzo Musyoka and any other leader who comes, who crosses his path. So to me, I believe it's a bit hypocritical that he's now seeming to preach peace, whereas he has been insulting leaders left, right, and center. And I can tell you for a fact, Miriam, the only reason why people in Western Kenya do not want to vote for William Ruto is because he has been insulting them since 2013, telling them how he will arrange them and how their leaders should go to Sugoi and be able to beg him for development. He has been doing that also even to other parts of the country. So therefore, this is the last man to ever, perhaps who should be expected to be talking about campaigning with a clean language and not insulting one another and saying things that could preempt violence in the forthcoming elections. Where was he in 2017? Where was he in 2013? At that time, he was at the top of his bravado, beating his chest and telling other Kenyans how he's the deputy president of the Republic of Kenya and throwing unprintable insults at other leaders of this particular country. And until today, he's still doing the same thing, but through his proxies like Oscar Sudi. The other time when Linturi talked about Madoadoa, he never reprimanded him immediately. It called for Kenyans to pile pressure on him to do so. Recently, when he talked about the Congolese people being watu ya Lingala na kucheza muziki, he never apologized for it until pressure piled on him to do so. Is when he came out of his hideout and cocoon to send his delegation and the spokesperson to go and apologize, and albeit not directly. So to me, Miriam, I believe this is a pretender, this is a hypocrite, this is someone who preaches water and drinks wine, and therefore he cannot be taken seriously about this matter of preaching peace, in as much as this is what the country wants. But coming from William Ruto, I believe it is still an understatement. I submit.
Okay. Doc, even as you respond to what Ruto said about leaders minding what they're saying in public, but also there's something that Muturi said yesterday when he was being endorsed by the Democratic Party. And part of his speech, in a no-holds-barred speech at the Bomas of Kenya in Nairobi, where he was endorsed as the party's flag bearer in the upcoming general election, Mr. Muturi criticized President Kenyatta for engaging in political bad manners by shaking hands with the ODM party leader. So, Doc, the Speaker of the National Assembly is saying that handshake between President Kenyatta and opposition Raila Odinga is what he terms as political bad manners. That should never have happened.
I think Muturi should resign. Speaker Muturi should just resign and leave the parliament to the committee, because he has now also lost morality and the moral compass is gone. Can he tell us what broke his hand recently? For me, he's my friend. I don't want to go into that, but I will tell you something offline which will shock you. The hatred for Raila, we know now why. We know. Yes. When you're a leader, smooth vitu ya watu. So achana hiyo, Mr. Muturi. We respect you. We don't want to come for you because you have been a great friend of the president. Wacha tukuache tu. But you were brought from nowhere, from where you are gone, and Uhuru brought you up. You stayed around Uhuru and made a name and became a speaker. Just eat what you are eating. If you want to eat, eat it. But for you to say that it was a very wrong, the parliament was not working. There was a war on the streets of Kenya. The president should have sat down and watched people killing each other. Justice Muturi, surely. Justin Muturi, surely I thought you had senses. I thought you were a Democrat. Whenever I see you drinking Kepitsky, I thought that you were worth a Democrat. But now you have ashamed me. You are my friend for a long time, but we knew anyway. This, Miriam, look, you know, I've written this. If you, when you are offline, sit down and read that piece that I've written. The biggest mistake we made in this Jubilee Party, we brought in a thief and a corrupt man. He corrupted everybody. He corrupted the Itumbis who were working very positive, patriotic. He corrupted all departments. He corrupted the Solicitor General, the former Solicitor General. He corrupted everybody. The only man in Jubilee who was never touched, who never corrupted is Matsanga. For me, I never liked the way Ruto plays his politics, and I distanced myself completely. From the time Ruto did not come to say thank you, Matsanga, for having helped me from going to jail, I knew this was not a wrong choice for Kenya. So I distanced myself. So words like those of Muturi, resign, you can't preside over this National Assembly anymore. You have declared your interest as a party. You have now party interest. You are not making judgment to make the new rules, whatever they are coming now as impartial. You are now partial. Therefore, it is time. I don't know why MPs cannot unite and vote Muturi out of Parliament, of the speakership. Why? I don't know. You should not be there now. You should go to the field and the campaign. You should go on top of the, in fact, why Muturi, you know, Media, it brings me to this thing here. I am now well seated down here, able to talk about it. Do you know that in Africa we have a problem? Why Ruto fears to resign? Did you know why? He will lose the cars. He will lose the allowance. He will lose the bodyguards. Because if Ruto resigns now, he will be given a few, not the presidential type of bodyguards. So anybody can walk on that car and slap him. Yes. Honestly, the talk that Ruto does, you needs to be slapped. If it was in a very radical place like Uganda, Ugandan man will wake up and beat you up. You know, Ruto needs to be beaten up so that he wakes up. Just bigger A. Because there are certain statements he makes. How can you say, stop making reckless statements when you are the one who paid people to go and make reckless statements about Uhuru Kenyatta? So kwetu Uganda, tunajuana, tunajulikana. When a Ugandan you are quarreling with him over a woman in a nightclub, and they said, okay, Matanga, it's all right, you stay there, I'm coming back. My friend, look for a fire exit. I'm being honest here. Look for fire exit. Ruto needs that type of people. When he says, Narudi, sahi, wewe asante, wewe endelea na bibi yangu, asante, narudi. Iyo, sasa, yo makosa yako, wewe mwenyewe, if you have not had. And that's why maybe we fear, some of us now, at the moment, we fear violence. I don't want to hear anywhere where somebody talks of violence, media, mnakwambia haki. But when you hear the deputy president condemning his own boss, the very bad remarks, very dangerous remarks about the president, Uyu Mutu, who started the dynasty. Muturi is the one who condemned the dynasty versus Hasola. That one was steering the country, and he has torn the country into two parts. Until now, the same people who are saying, who are supposed to be dynasties, have joined Ruto. What do you call Mudavadi? Is he not a dynasty? With that big stomach, bigger than mine. In fact, my stomach has shaped off, you know? Look at it, Miriam. I'm shaped off. It's going. Yeah, give me a credit on that for encouraging me. You encouraged me to do some exercise. Mudavadi should first of all run around and do exercise before he goes on talking on top of the thing for free things. You know, what to come, they are used to free things like Mudavadi and Wetangula. Wetangula is used to theft. He's a thief. That's it. If he was in Kesirisa, he would be stealing. A man who is feared in the whole village. That when he arrives there, people take their women away to Eldoret until he leaves on Saturday. So these are some of the most dangerous people that can point fingers at Mr. Uhuru Kenyatta. Uhuru Kenyatta is a decent man. Mumuache, he has a legacy, man. He will finish. Wait for us on Saturday, Sunday. Mambo itajeuka. Mambo itajeuka from Sunday. Ruto, hear me. Bring your yellow colors. We shall bring our colors. It is a mega, 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 mega. How many times have I repeated? 7. Let's see. You a thief versus those who are not thieves. You criminals who are ganged up in UDA versus us who have nothing, who have stolen. You don't even pay Matanga something who saved you with your white lips in ICC. You pay Moses Kuria. Look at another slave called Moses Kuria. That's a slave. You know, he can't even walk. In fact, he has grown so small, very thin. Look, God has allowed him to return. Let him stand. You can't insult your own man. I am here on this television. If I see somebody go insulting Museveni now on this television, I'll switch off. Because I don't want to make my comments. I have bad comments to make. But if you start insulting Museveni on my TV, he's my country leader, I keep off. But Moses Kuria allowed people to insult the president who comes from his constituency, who gave him the constituency on a free ticket. Moses had no money. Moses was a beggar. Miriam nikwambie nini, was a beggar. Yes, ati Yesu alisema waambienga hawa watu wasikie. Moses was a beggar in town. When I was working for Sky News, he used to come for lunch for me to give him $200, $300. Now he sells people. He sells Uhuru Kenyatta, who made him the MP. Me, when I see you, if you are going, unless you are discussing Museveni positively, I agree. I'll join the debate. Why I disagree with most of the Ugandan opposition leaders is when they go somewhere, they say Museveni is very bad. A Muzungu looks at his watch. When you say in his office that he has done nothing for Uganda, voila. Do you know what Miriam, the Muzungu said? Jen, is there another appointment coming after this? You know you are not welcome in that office now. Because you have talked rubbish. Start in this office. Let me teach people. You say there are few things. In fact, always when you go for interview, when they are interviewing you, start like this. There are few things. There are things in Uganda that His Excellency President Museveni has done very well. And there are also bad things that he has done. This MP of House of Lords will entertain you for another 1 hour. But Miriam, if you start negatively, they will tell you, oh, they have a meeting coming up. He has some ambassadors coming to see you. You have lost the mission where you went. So my sister, Muturi should be thankful to Uhuru Kenyatta.
And Doc, even as we look at that, of course, he's saying that just quoting what he said, that show me anywhere in the world in a functional democracy where a sitting government decides to join forces with an opposition to form another government with complete disregard to their own, Mr. Muturi said. These are the political bad manners that I'm talking about. So owing to where the country was at that time, what other option perhaps would he have proposed for President Uhuru Kenyatta to consider, considering the issues that were at hand during that time in our country and the place where we were? What would have been the other option, the better option outside of the handshake?
There was no better option, Miriam, in the name of God. And Muturi, I never expected this to come from Justin Muturi. I'm really embarrassed. I can't say anything, but I think he just wants to go to Kenya Kwanza. Let God help him. Let him take Kibaki to Kenya Kwanza. Kibaki's party. After all, Kibaki's son has withdrawn from that party. Did you know that? He's no longer in that party. Because he saw some malcontents like Mr. The former corrupt judge, magistrate called Muturi. We have just kept his record lingering. So from this week to the release. Hey, Sindio Sasa, you know, when you start fighting a government, the government has machinery to release what you don't want to see. Media. That's it. That's the truth. My sister, that's the truth. It has the will to fight you. It has the will to fight you. There is something very developing, which I don't know whether you have seen, coming from
Somalia.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen it. I'm just seeing it now. So it's there.
Oh, let me that one on our, let's put it on our diplomatic links.
Yes, at 11. Yeah, sure.
Let's discuss at 11 our diplomatic links. Miriam, let me just pen here, and you also pen here to prepare for that while we cross over to CAS TV in the next 80 minutes, where we'll, on top of the hour, I will be at CAS on the television linked live to CAS TV, where I'm going to address the nation. And especially the 6 to 7 million people in the Rift Valley. I'm coming. It will be a hard tackle, and I will be telling it as it is. We have bad manners in politics, Miriam. It is good the picture has come as a ghost worker, has shown himself siphoning money and then telling his supporters to ask for lowering the prices. Why doesn't he lower the allowances? Leave the allowances that can contribute to the reduction of the prices. Thank you.
All right, and also just in line with the politics of the day, Azimio's big catch, Raila and Kalonzo seems to be inching closer to 2022 in a coalition deal. This should be some good news for Azimio.
Oh, yes! Not only good news. Miriam, I've prepared my uniform on Friday. I am a supporter, an ardent supporter of Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. Where Uhuru says jump, I jump. How high? High. If he wants me to jump, as long as he doesn't tell me to die. Because I won't accept to die. But when Uhuru says jump, jump. If he says keep quiet, yes. If he says go home, I go home. I've prepared a very nice uniform. And that is the style we are going to use. Forget about the yellow. Yellow is George Soros' formation. Mudavadi is there for George Soros' formation. Because there's George Soros' money in the kitty of Kenya Kwanza. That's it. You can see Wetangula growing thinner because he has not been given the share yet. They are struggling. They were trying to bring in the share through Mr. Kemboy, who was arrested at the airport. And the telephone of Mr. Kemboy has revealed a lot. Yeah, medium. Wala, kumbe tunalala na waizi, they can kill you, they can even steal your mattress while you are sleeping, and then you end up sleeping on wire. He waizi, Ruto is a thief, he's a bad thief, man. Jamen. Voila. So for me, Kalonzo's coming, we saw it. If 3 governors also have some population in your own county, which other place will you sell your other remainder? No, I'm asking a very good question here. Which other place will you sell the other remainder? 3 governors, what do they have? A population of 1.2 million. 3 governors have got 700,000. So where do you sell the 500? You remain with them. Can you win a seat with 500? Come and work here. A structure engagement, dialogue. That's good. The word. Thank you very much, Dr. Stephen Kalonzo. You are an icon. And by the way, we are gonna this month before it ends and the beginning before tennis, Jubilee is gonna receive very good news. Where immediately some of them would like this thing to be implemented before the parliament goes down. You will see. Are they not running to implement the 35%, which they rejected in it? So it shows they are more stupid. They are stupid. The brain is delayed mentally. Not Matsanga. At least my brain works. Every 24 hours, every inch, every minute I turn around, my brain is working. You reject, surely you reject BBI. Then you come quickly, Mr. Ichungwa. You introduce a motion to fix the ceiling, the capping of counting, money to be given to county to 35%. Are you normal? Miriam, are you normal? What was the use of killing BBI then? So we still have very good news around here. This is good news for Kenyatta starting from Wednesday. Sagana 3 onwards. Sagana 3 is not today, but Wednesday. You have been told that. Starting Wednesday, then Friday, delegates conference, then Saturday, sealing the mega of all megas. Mega of the mega of all megas. Woohoo! Voila! 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 You know, I now use Uru's words. Voila! Aya! Ala! Mwendele! As long as Kenya stays on peaceful course, Africa will be peaceful. And that's why some of us are here talking. Maybe we might, some people might listen to us. The peaceful Kenya is the best Kenya for Africa. You are a model, an island of peace. Look at what Tanzania has done, because they have seen you, what Raila shaking the hand of the president currently. Tanzania also is moving. So Muturi talking like a man who comes from M village, a village which should have become so good.
Okay. I see Daniel is back. Daniel, sorry, had a bit of a technical hit.
You can go with Daniel, but I'm crossing over to.
Yes, even us will be done in just right now. But since he's back, he's having a bit of a technical hitch on his part. Daniel, Speaker Muturi is saying the kind of handshake President Uhuru Kenyatta had with opposition leader Raila Odinga is what should be termed as political bad manners. And we were just discussing with Dr. there earlier. So owing to where the country was at that time, perhaps what do you think would have been the other best option outside of the handshake?
Miriam, I think Speaker Justin Muturi is just being petty, and he has been showing such signs towards Raila Odinga. And one thing that Kenyans do not know is that he's also an orphan of YK92 because he used to work as a magistrate during that time, and on the sidelines of the YK92, He's among the few individuals who helped the youth the unscrupulous organization to actually perpetuate its atrocities against the proponents of the multi-party democracy. So he's just a bird of a feather who might feel maybe quite okay sitting with William Ruto and maybe working against Raila Odinga, who maybe during that time in the fight for multi-party democracy, he was perceived to be maybe to be playing on the other side of the football of the team. So to me, these words do not come as a surprise. Rather, he's just trying to find a place where he can feel home, and that is to be with William Ruto, the deputy president. But as Dr. Matsanga David had said earlier on, if now he's becoming partisan in the way that he's discussing the politics of the country, remember, he's not just a member of parliament or maybe an appointed leader. This is the Speaker of the National Assembly, which is also a sign of national unity. So once he starts talking in such particular terms and he declares his interest to run for presidency, and Raila Odinga, who has MPs in parliament, becomes an opponent, William Ruto, who also has MPs in or allies in parliament, becomes an opponent, the best thing he can do is actually resign and go now fight for his political space. Otherwise, it is immoral to speak while having food in your mouth. It is very unfortunate that he's having such kind of thoughts when the country was actually at the brink of collapse, Miriam. There wouldn't have been any other choice other than having the handshake between President Uhuru Kenyatta. Otherwise, we would have gone to we would be having the street battles where the opposition was actually demonstrating from Monday to Friday. And that would have actually brought down our economy, and the image of our country will have received a dent. So I think, to me, that was a low blow for him as a leader. He ought to have known better that this country needs everyone on board. We cannot continue being in a country where the opposition leader and the president do not see eye to eye. And you have seen whatever the handshake in Kenya has precipitated. Even in Tanzania, even in Ethiopia right now, things are trying to cool down, are actually cooling down. And therefore, it was a good show of unity. It was something good for this country. And since we had the handshake in 2018 March, we haven't been able to see the turmoil or maybe the tumultuous times that we used to experience in pre-handshake times. And therefore, it is something good. Anyone who is against the handshake probably is an enemy of this country, and we need not to give them the airtime or maybe even a chance to be able to intoxicate and poison the good working relationship that is currently being seen between the Right Honorable Raila Odinga and President Uhuru Kenyatta. Because, Miriam, that has brought prosperity to this country. It has brought the elusive peace and unity that Kenyans wished for since 2013, 2017 presidential election. And someone here comes to tell us that this is bad manners, this is something that ought to have not happened. Those who are the enemies of progress, these are leaders who thrive in politics of chaos and divisions. And because now the preconditions now do not allow them to divide Kenyans against one another, that is why you see them jumping from one corner to another. These are the orphans of YK92, and I believe they have no value to add to this country whatsoever. I submit, Miriam.
All right, thank you so much. And that marks the end of our show. Right now, we shall give room for the next show. Where Dr. Matsanga will be on another platform, but we shall be streaming it here also on Punchline Africa and all our social media networks. Please join us there for that show. And then we shall be back here at 11 a.m. with Diplomatic Leaks, and we shall be looking at the latest news coming from Somalia, where now Somalia's president, Farmajo, and Prime Minister Roble disown oil deal with US farm. What's really going on there in Somalia? So we shall have that and more at 11. But for right now, we'll give way to the program with Dr. Matsanga at one of our local television stations here in the country. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you, Daniel, for your time. And good afternoon, good evening, and a very good morning to you. My name is Miriam Gutu.